All right, this lesson is on division of fractions. So there is a sort of a mantra out there, keep, change, flip. I'll be honest, I'm not super crazy about that. Students seem to remember it though, so I'll keep it in here. We see this note here. We multiply by the reciprocal because dividing by fraction means asking what number undoes multiplication by that fraction. And the reciprocal is exactly what reverses it. So let's see if we can apply this example here. And again, our generic version here with using letters, a over b divided by c over d. And notice what we do is we take this fraction here and we flip it. I'll put a little flip, guys. We flip it around. So instead of a over b divided by c over d, it's a over b times d over. So what do we have here? 2/3 divided by 4/5. So again, instead of dividing the fractions, I'm going to convert this 2/3. I'm going to use my dot times and then reciprocate or flip this fraction. And then just like we did with multiplication, now we're going to multiply top times top, bottom times bottom. However, before we multiply, it's often easiest if you will cancel out first. So 2 goes into itself one time, and 2 goes into 4 two times. So 1 times 5 is 5. 3 times 2 is 6. So I don't want to spend a lot of time here, but I do want to unpack why does multiplying by the reciprocal work here. So think about this. Let's do a thought experiment. I know you know how to divide. 8 divided by 2. 8. If you have 8 cookies and divide it, you have 2 people, they're each going to get 4. However, this doesn't translate really well when we have negative numbers or if we have fractions. So we need to find some way to sort of generalize division. And recall when we generalize subtraction, we stated that a minus b is the same thing as a plus a negative b. Now in the same way, I'm going to say that a divided by b is the same thing as a times 1 over b. So in other words, dividing by a number means the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. And let's look back at that 8 divided by 2. We're stating that 8 divided by 2 is the same thing as 8 times 1/2. And I think this would make sense, right? 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 8 times 1/2 is also 4. If we recall, when we do our fraction, 2 goes into 8 4 times 1 is 4. So I'm hoping this translates over into why, when we divide, we multiply by the reciprocal. Again, here I'm dividing 8 divided by 2 over 1 is the same thing as 8 times 1 over 2. Those two are exactly the same. It's probably easy to see here because we can do that in our head. They're both 4. It's harder to sort of see when the fractions, but be able to transfer what we can do with whole numbers here, the same thing we can do with negative numbers and other fractions. Okay, let's look at our next example. 5/6 divided by 1/2. So my first thing when I do these, and I'm pretty good at these, is I will convert this and rewrite it to 5/6 times 2 over 1. I will not try to do division like that in my head. I'll convert it to multiplication every time. This will be particularly important when we start having algebraic fractions. We start having variables in here. So can I cancel anything before I multiply? I can't. So 2 goes into itself and 2 goes into 6. Anything else? That's going to do it. So 5 times 1 is 5. And 3 times 1 is 3. And we get 5/3. Now, if you want to, you can convert this to a mixed fraction 1 and 2/3. All right, let's try this one. We have 7/10 divided by 2/5. Pause the video here and see if you can do it. Okay, I'm hoping the first thing you did was rewrite the problem. I'm hoping you did not try to cancel 2 into 10. We can only do that when multiplying. So I'm going to rewrite the problem, 7/10 times 5 over 2. Can I cancel anything here? Yes, I can. So 5 and 10. So 7 times 1 is 7. 2 times 2 is 4. Now, students often ask the question, can I leave it as 7/4? It sort of depends on what the problem's asking. Sometimes the instructions will say, rewrite with mixed numbers or rewrite with decimals. For these lessons, the improper fraction 7/4 is fine. But ultimately, let your instructor decide how this final answer should be written.